Ahoy, hoy. Cling, clang, clang. You hear all the clanging and the clinging and the clanging. The clong, clong, cling, clang, clang. All that. That's my mic. Me and my mic stand are we're having a fit. Um, Still doing a little bit of this and that. I had to tweak OBS at the last minute, but hey, starting at 11:04, with 11 o'clock time is a record for me, I think. I was also getting my notes ready. There's been a lot. There's a lot going on, so hopefully this mic will stay where I put it. But I I could be wrong. Okay, so this is fine. All right, I don't need these. Not sure if you guys can hear the rain or not, but I'm working on that. So, ahoy hoy! I am Captain Exit. Good morning. Welcome to another podcast from the Pan Galactic Transdimensional Ship Loss. Oh, I'm still fighting with this mic. See, the thing is that like I think this washer is broken. Like in the, I don't know. I think the screw for this could be threaded or something. I don't know. It won't stay. It goes past the point of no return, and that's never good. Never. All right. Let's get some things happening. Got to get my stuff set up. But I wanted to just like get get on, get on and do it. I don't know what happened to the picture either. It's like cut off. I don't know what happened. It's a little weird. It's fine in Discord, but it's not working. It's not working in here. Like there's no more picture. I've spread this out. I was messing around with this picture right before I started because I was like, what the hell happened to it? It was fine. It's fine in Discord. I've opened it. I've sent it to people. No one said it was bad. No one said, hey, I can't read a part of it. So I have no idea. I don't know what's going on. Okay, let's see. Aha. All right, now it's working. I had a little bit of a delay here. I'm going to reset this. Yeah, I mean, I tweaked this picture last minute last night. So I'm wondering why it's all wonky in OBS. But you know what? I shouldn't worry about it because it's OBS. So yeah, this very well may be the last podcast for 2024, as stated in the Discord. Um, I'm not sure if I can like sneak one in with Rake on Tuesday. I don't think we're gonna have time for that. We're gonna go to a place that it's like it's a bar. Now I'm not one for bars. I'm not, unless you have some games, then I'm there. You got some pool table, pinball machines, darts, anything interactive. I can't just sit at the bar and drink. Or I could eat, but then after that, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Hi, look who came up. Volume up. I can only hear you when my volume is all the way up. Volume up. I can't go any higher. Sorry. I have everything cranked up to 1,000. There is a filter on this thing. Let me see something. How's that? How does that sound? I'm messing with the mic on OBS. How does that sound? Blasphemy? What's blasphemous about what I just said? What are you talking about? Better? It's better. I don't know. Maybe you gotta. I have my headphones on. I sound pretty good, and they're not all the way up. Coming in clear. Maybe it's you. Maybe you need I don't know. But I brought the mic up Hopefully that helps. But I did it in OBS because I'm cranked on the Behringer. I'm all the way up. I'm just a smidgen down because I like, even with the filter, I don't want it to accidentally go into the red if I get excited and start talking and I'm like, ah. How does that sound? I have to turn my headphones down now because I can hear myself really loud in my headphones. I think it's you, babe. Yeah, sounds good. All right. I also have a mic malfunction I'm dealing with at the same time. So thank you for helping me with the audio. I appreciate it. But yeah, aside from having to tweak this thing and having things get a little bonkers, I'm gonna try that intro again. Not the whole thing. I just want to try my intro again. Now, how did that sound? Oh, you're so cute. Was that better? Is that better? Are we all coming in loud and clear better? If I could just get the mic to stay, it'd be better, but I got to keep fighting with it. It is what it is until I fix this. What I'm going to do is I'm just swapping out the mic stands. That's the easy solution right now. I just haven't done it yet. I put the other mic stand like way in the corner. So that's where that is. Yeah, it's good. Oh, okay. So we'll leave it like that. I'm still not in the red. I'm just hugging orange. So that's good. But I know this does have a filter in it. I might need to tweak that filter. I'm not sure. I don't know. But if you hear it nice, we'll go with that. Oh, it's 11:11. Make a wish. Okay, so wish is made. Let's begin. Oh wait, I misplaced my iced tea. Never mind, I found it. Going on the lurk, baby. All right, my love. Lurk away. Thank you for the lurk. Ah, that's delicious. Okay, tea has been imbibed. And now we're going to have a little chat about some things that I've noticed. Now, I've been going on a roller coaster, and I'm definitely not prepared. Like, I have some things written down, but there's a lot, and I know I'm not going to be able to cover it all anyway. So I'm really not freaking out about it because I'm going to have to do this, part 2 to this already. Knew it going in, But that being said, there are some things now that the DLC's out and then even Night Rain's coming out, that I just want to get out, that I still haven't seen anything. And just recently, like as of yesterday, it dawned on me while I was watching someone else who I love those shit. I'm going to plug them in to the Discord and this chat here. I'm just gonna throw the link in there and say who they are later. But they I was watching their fantastic videos that they do on Elden Ring, showing people stuff and things, and I noticed something in Stormvale that kind of got me into this whole spiral about, what is this thing now, in Stormvale where you have to like go on the path and, kind of like hug that big hole in the wall and that little narrow pathway to get to the other side. And if you look down, there's that like that walkway. It looks like, that's somewhere you're going to wind up, but you don't go there. That whole place is bricked up. I looked at the archway and I was like, I wonder where that leads. But then I realized, it's all bricked up. You can't really go there. And if you fell from that, you die. So there's no, way to get down there unless you do some PC and, clip out and explore that way. Check that out. Which I would love to get in touch with someone who would take a look at that. But that kind of sent me on this, like, what, there's so many things in the game that like are right in front of your face, but you don't notice them because you're running for your life. And that's one of them. It's like, there's this whole part of Stormville that you don't even get to because it's just like, it's a gravity death and it's all bricked up anyway. So there's no point, but it's showing you, it's rendered in every time that it's there, and that at one point that connected to something that you're either going to go around or get to or whatever. And it's just like, oh my God, all these parts of this story with the architecture and what it, and just you having to reverse engineer. And that brings me to the one that I just like, to realize it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, this person is traversing this area, and this is another video now. I recently saw two videos that blew my mind. One where they got Margit to hammer slam off the freaking cliff in the boss fight because of the rotten stray, that and that was thought to be impossible. So I was just like in shock. I must have watched it like 10 times. I was like, oh my God, I knew it, there had to be a way to do it. I've always been one of those who was like, yeah, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. Even if they, fixed it, I have the faith that somebody would figure it out, and it happened. So kudos to you. But then there was another video of someone showing a shortcut in the DLC to get to Shadow Altus, and I was like, oh my God, they're using the grave. Like they call it the grave, the tombstone wall to get up. And normally you go down those things, right? But there are some places where you can use them if you're really good with torrent and you have the patience. There's a lot of skips. There's a lot of scalable walls that normally would kill you if you just got to know where to go, And lately I've been seeing a lot of these, and this one is used to, speed run the game, speed run the DLC especially, and watching this person traverse up and get to, Shadow Altus was amazing. I was just like, oh my God, but it hit me. It's like all of this scaling up, it dawned on me that all of these graves were once upright, And it's weird because like, you would think that it would have dawned on, so like I haven't seen anyone put things upright. Like I noticed early on in the games, especially playing since day one of both the the base game and the DLC, that it looks like someone just blasted a hole through the mountainside and made a road. Like in the States, you drive through these mountains and there's these curves and it's not always flat. There's like hills up and down, but it looks, you can tell that this is not a natural formation. Someone blew a hole through this mountain to make a road to go through it instead of around it. And you look at the architecture, it is mind-boggling. And it also dawned on me recently, last week, where I was trying to put some pictures together for the podcast and like use as reference points. And I do apologize. I did not have any of that prepared. It's been a busy month at end of the year. And working overtime and such, it's just, I didn't get to. But one day I will sit down and have this part two. My goal is to have all those pictures ready for part 2. And do this on the laptop as opposed to my computer. That would be easier to deal with the picture problem. I just got to figure out why, like, OBS was not happy with my picture. It's because it was fine everywhere else except OBS. But I'm like, wow, there's a lot of these, because you see them upright in other places. You see them upright in Carrier Manor. You see them upright on the road leading to, Stormville. But then you're looking at this whole area of these gravestones, like someone that's blowing up, because once I realized with a thought I had, I was like, oh my God, the consequences of that. You're blowing up what would otherwise be sacred ground. I mean, this is consecrated ground. This is where people were buried. You have grave sites, big ones, small ones. You have those little mausoleums again, and those structures, they all look like they're from the eternal cities. So there's that whole connection. So it's like, wow. So all of these were like the remnants of the eternal cities, that, like, because they were banished underground. Everybody, get down. Like, did you like blow up the ground and sink them down there? And then just, or did they flee, banished underground, it's too bright up here for you, gotta go. And then just start decimating the areas that were left behind, because, it's not like the dead are going to get up and go flee to the underground as well. They're dead. They're buried. That's that. And they've been there forever. So they had to abandon their dead and go down and leave them. And, America and her people were like, all right, let's make a golden road here. Let's make a golden road there. But then it might not be them. It could be, there's theories that, are out there about the dragons, that, the sun realm and all that. And they could have been the ones to do the roads. Like, a lot of evidence points to them. Some roads have these symbols, other roads have these rings. But the main road, the high road, the king's road, whatever you want to call it, like, they share the same patterns, and, it's undeniable. So with the timeline being all wonky as it is anyway, and there's a lot to be said about that too. The definitives aren't there, because it's like, well, do you need to do you need to know this? There's certain things that you need to know to make the connections. There's other things that you don't. And we all know that. We get that. But time is crucial. Time tells you where you are. Time tells you, I had to put what time I would be on. I'm broadcasting from, the Pan-Galactic Transdimensional Ship Lost. But when is that happening? When's that broadcast? And then when is it reaching you? Now, of course, it's, simultaneous. It's happening in real time. But when you're trying to communicate through long distances of time, which the architecture in Elden Ring it's designed to do. What blew me away was that one of the I went back doing my research when I first figured out, like, I'm going to be able to squeeze my last Elden Ring, a podcast. I don't know if it's going to be the last podcast. I'm going to still try to have one, but I have a lot of things to do on Monday. I have appointments and I have work. So Tuesday, I also have work, and it's New Year's Eve, and then we have to get ready and all that fun stuff. So it's going to be a little bit crazy. No, thank you. So, hey, Jenny B Pizza. Hello. Happy Sunday. Oh, my whatchamacallit went a little crazy, but we're back now. Something's going on with my plug for the phone. It's like very sensitive now. I've cleaned it with alcohol and such. It's being a pain. Hello. Hope you're well. I hope you're well too. I'm doing better. I'm not sick. I thought I was, but I wasn't. I was just had a really bad sinus. Oh, like the left side of my face. I'm still sound a little because the left side of my face was not cooperating with the rest of me. What's up, Fancy? How you doing? Oh, absolutely, Jenny. You got it. No worries. Hola, Fancy. Happy Sunday. Hope you guys are doing good. We're chilling out, talking the things about Elden Ring. So yeah, I'll get back to that gravity point in a second, but the whole idea of putting those graves back, like lifting, like bringing the earth that was there, like a flan in a cover. It's just like those two saloon doors. Just close them back, raise up the earth, put those wall tombstones back upright and see what the land looked like. Like that to me is going to be an intriguing and oh, what kind of endeavor. I don't know. I don't do CGI and all that stuff. That's the people that like recreate stuff, and I give more power to them because that is just, I don't have the time. Obviously, I couldn't even get everything ready for the podcast. Happy Sunday, Fancy. But and they're big and small. They vary in size, and that's another thing. It's like, wow, you know, you bring into like the Celia understair and you see like that huge skeleton in that chair and you're like, what the fuck is that? What my mind went everywhere because I started to immediately try to think of like, what could that be? Is that a carving? No, that's a real skeleton. Okay. Why is it so huge? And then I thought of like the skeletons in Caelid, and I was like, no, those are way bigger than this. But this is the biggest thing, aside from them, because you have the giants, then you have the fire giant, but then you have these guys, and at that time you don't know the fire giants out there. It's not known. But oh my God, blew my mind. I was like, what the hell? And then I thought, wow, all this crypt death shit, going around, and you have all these graves, like the night, the Knox people, that's their thing. They walk that line, but they also, delve in creating life. They they're supposed to be responsible for the silver tears and all that stuff, and they're creating life through other means, which some think is taboo, whatever, but there it is. It's there for you. It's just like the people who are like, oh, nothing can exist without the sun, and then you find those freaking tube worms in the oceans that are sucking off sulfur where no light gets, and they're like, well, okay, we have to rethink this. So the Nox are like doing their own thing, and the thing is this, that's a whole different ball of wax there with the Nox and Newman, and the like how the ants are really big because they're feeding off Newman, and how there are still like Newman bloodlines, and how the Newman are the shaman. Like that's a whole different thing. I'm not gonna get into that. Kodiak, what is up, my friend? If you're working, happy and safe travels. Thank you for the 12 months. Oh my God, it's been a year. Oh, my friend, be safe, please. If you're working, if you're enjoying the time, I am very thankful that you're enjoying the time. Big hugs to the Kodiak. If I can do this, I don't even know why. Well, come on. There you go. Okay. Always working, including Christmas. Oh, did you get that double pay? Did you get that double Christmas pay? I'm gonna grab my notes here because if not, I'll go off on a tangent. I gotta stay within the parameters. But yeah, I want to see those graves upright. I want to see what the landscape would have looked like with them still there, instead of just having like the mountainside blown through with who knows what, probably, who knows, holy magic, gravity magic, anything, and just and that's it. That's the thing about the gravity thing that trips me out. I stumbled upon this really good YouTube about some mysterious things in physics. I'm a big nerd. Quantum mechanics, astrophysics, theoretical physics, regular physics. I try to stay away from chemistry because it makes me mad. But like physics, I'm there. But like how gravity fucks with time, and I keep going back to gravity magic, Radon, Fair Missoula, the dragons, trying to establish a timeline. And then I saw another video recently that I think it was earlier when I was washing dishes. Someone had said that like they had a short and they mentioned that Renala's sister, the one from the DLC, is Mesmer's aunt. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Now that changes things. So is it like before Radon he's alive? I mean, Radagon, sorry. He's alive, or after? Because after makes him her his aunt. That's true. I didn't think about that. So now I'm like, oh my god, is it like she's the only one? Like if you go that route, she's his aunt, and she's the only one that's backing him up because nobody else wants to go because they know they're not coming back. You know what I mean? Or is it before, like, is Mesmer before Radagon, whereas like it's with Mesmer in that pocket, you know what I mean? Like if Mesmer's there before Radagon, right? Hear me out. Then it's not an aunt thing because he's not around, and Mesmer and Melina are, you know, they're brother and sister. She's the younger sister. It's made clear in the DLC that she's the younger sister, so they're not twins. Made it clear, so they're different. How they came about, who's their daddy, we don't know. But it timeline wise, if Renala's sister loves Mesmer in a non-platonic way, then it stands to reason that it's before. Although it is George R. R. Martin, so like the incest thing is definitely viable. But I'm just saying. That distinction right there helps to establish a timeline, whether was Radagon there from the beginning and was Mesmer from the beginning, because you have see, this is why it's really weird, because in the DLC you find out that, you know, Radon, Mesmer, and Gaius are fucking friends. They're friends. They train with each other. So that establishes the fact that Carria, Renala, and her sister are they're there. But is Radagon there? Is he with Renala at the time? Because even after Radagon leaves and goes back to the capital to be with America, Radon is still the golden lion. I'm the one, he still is with Lindell regardless. The people who have the problem are Ronnie and Rykard, I guess, because he's in cahoots with Ronnie, via base game knowledge and the blasphemous claw and stuff like that. So we know that. I don't know any of this stuff, but this is giving me Lord of the Rings vibes. Oh my god. Kodiak, yeah, dude, it's wild. The lore is wild. The lore is wild. But that's what I'm saying, is like this little tidbit from someone just having a different point of view, because up until this point I thought, oh, Renala's sister she was in love with him, but it wasn't reciprocated. Now it blows up a whole thing like, well, what if it wasn't in love? What if that's his aunt? Because it's establishing a timeline that Radagon and Renala are already together when this whole fucking genocide happens. So it was interesting. It was an interesting thing. I figured I'd just throw it out there because it's got to get out of my head. I have to make room for other shit. It's got to get out of there. All right, let's see. I have 3 different books of notes. Oh my God, so much. Oh, and we are going to talk about the eclipse and occultation today. I'm probably going to touch on it again in the second part of this podcast next year in 2025, because I need to flesh it out a little bit, and I want to have the pictures to go with it, which I have them. They're just not, OBS is not playing with my pictures correctly, obviously, so I don't want it to be fucked up. I want you to be able to see what I'm talking about without having to like do crazy maneuvers and mess with things. Like, but I again stumbled upon another. So when I was playing the DLC, I knew that I would have to watch and learn from other people because I wasn't going to be able to get far because of my busy schedule. Most of you know that I work a shit ton. Not as much as Kodiak, but I work a lot. Let's see, what is Kodiak? Too bad we've never gotten Alkaline the Black in the Lord of the Rings game. Ooh. Oh no. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, Kodiak. You bring up a good point. Damn. Just that oh God, I wish I was swish enough with my computer. My computer is ancient, guys. 2012. 2012. This computer was built for me, okay? But I got to get a picture of that character and I'll throw it in Discord. Or maybe you can do it on your travels. You could throw a picture that you like, that you think represents them the best, and throw it in the Discord for me. And then everybody can see what you're talking about because, oh my God, you are right. That would be great. All these games they've come out with Lord of the Rings and they have not once uh put the black in there. Got it? The biggest dragon in fiction. Yeah, dude, I know. I like the closest thing I would say would be the Lich Dragon in Elden Ring. That gave me Algalon the Black vibes, but like Algalon the Black is like huge, so much bigger than the Lich Dragon, but still it's in a dream, so whatever. But yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so I stumbled upon a really good Astrum video about moons because I've been perplexed. Something has perplexed me in Elden Ring a lot for a long time since I started playing it, and it was like I didn't really care about Rolana's quest line. Ronnie's quest line, to be honest. I was just like, okay, cool. This is like sorcery stuff. I'm not really into sorcery, but I'll do it because I want to get all the stuff, and I like Blythe. He's like, oh, I love him. Torrent and Blythe are like my two favorite characters in the game. I don't care about the people. So I remember thinking, when I found my first memory stone, and I was like, ooh, this looks cool. And I read the description and I was like, this is supposed to be a fragment of the lost black moon of Noxtella. What are you talking about? Lost black moon? Like, so, and then you start learning about how it was destroyed. And I'm like, okay, wait. The moon blew up and pieces of it rained down onto the planet that we're on, like onto the lands between. Okay, let's take a moment to think about that. Why? How? Those things are important. So, and then I started thinking, I'm like, what if that was the moon that did the eclipse? And then I started thinking about the eclipse, and I was like, okay, they keep talking about it, Castle Soul. Okay, these realms, and then the video that Scum Mage Infra put out about how Stormvale is like one of, if not the kingdom on in the lands between, on land of the Sun Realm, and the towers where you find the eagles and the hawks rather, and the what's the one, the talisman for jump attacks, the claw talisman is up there. You see, like, it looks like the Divine Towers. It has the same opening, and you watch the video and he goes on to say that, like, the sun passes directly through it. I was like, whoa. Okay, so now we have more evidence about the Sun Realm and how it like connected to, like, and the Sun Realm's huge. It was the kingdom that ran the lands between. Like, that's all these structures based off of that, but they're all interconnected from the original, from the ancient. That's why you'll see the same sort of motifs. They keep carrying on through generation, depending. It doesn't even matter who comes through. Most of these people, they are related, like in our world, a lot of the people, they're related. These people came from this land originally and that island, and they came over here and all that happy horse shit. The Lost Black Moon. The Kodiak, I love you. He's in Gen Chat. Thank you. Was it a Brethren Moon? I don't know what that means. I know it's not, but that would have been dope. You gotta explain to me what that is because I don't know it off the top of my head. But that'd be cool. So I will tell you what the Black Moon, according to the game, is, so that you know, Kodiak. So the Black Moon of Noxtella, there's like more than one moon in the Lands Between. There's like the full moon and the dark moon and the black moon and the twin moons. So like there's some moons. And throughout the game you'll see like there are two moons in the sky and the sun is very, very far away. But apparently there was this black moon and it was destroyed somehow. And parts of it were gathered by astrologers and sorcerers and shit like that and made into these necklaces that allow you to learn more spells. That's the mechanic in the game. So they're called memory slots. It allows you to learn more. It's essentially like an external memory so that you can cast spells, you know, or incantations, either or. It's not just specific to spells. Brethren moons are the main evils in Dead Space. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Dead Space. What a great franchise. I love the animes. If you haven't seen the cartoons, they're fucking dope. But, you know, I can't play that game. Listen, I'm not into the horror. Like, I'll watch people run around and be creepy and shoot creepy things. But I don't want to be the person controlling I'll get myself killed every time because I'll panic. Each moon is born from the extinction of a species. Oh my God, that's cool. Oh, I need to read up on some Dead Space lore. Unless they have another anime that I haven't seen. I only know about two. Maybe there's a third one by now. I'm not sure. But that's fucking cool. Wow. That's crazy. Thanks, Kodiak. And something else to sink my teeth into aside from Elden Ring and Soul Reaver. So I thought, wow, what if the black moon was what was used to make the eclipse by the Nox? You know, let's say, you know, Noxella, because you have Nokrom, Noxtella, and the Nameless Eternal City. You have the main three, right? That's it. That's all we know about. And Estelle, you know, the legend, as the legend goes, Estelle comes through, because, you know, the Nox invoke the ire of the greater will. So they think, oh, well, the greater will just sent Estelle, which makes perfect sense. We know the greater will sent the Elden Beast on a golden star. We know it also sent Matir, you know, with her creepy fucking finger ass down here too. So we know this thing sends things. As so the legend goes. So Estelle comes flying in, because a lot of people now, they're of the mind, they're like, oh no, they did that to themselves. The Nox were trying to invoke, and they use this, and there's evidence to support it. There's also things that kind of say, no, I don't think so. I think the greater world did it. So it's either or. I'm not here to debate it. All I'm here to do is say, well, if that were the case for the ire of the greater will sending, you know, okay, you pissed me off, Estelle, boom, come on, here comes Estelle, steals the night sky of the Nox, and the greater will banish them underground. Like, how? I mean, Estelle can do some pretty crazy shit. He leveled a city. So Estelle leveled a nameless city. But the other two were just like, all right, you got to get out of here. And it just like pushed them underground, just opened up the ground and stuffed them down in there and swallowed it up. Like, what happened there? You know, like what force did that? You know, a lot of people are of the mind that, oh, they just pushed them. Captain Luna! Check Discord, Gen Chat. Will do. You know, was it Estelle as well? Like, was that, you know, Estelle has a lot of gravity magic, or was it something else? We just don't know. Were they just like, okay, you got to get out of here. That's it. Go. And they just left and built their cities on the ground. They've been there for long enough. They could totally do it. And both are plausible. The point is that if the moon was used, the black moon was used by the Nox to obscure the sun and drain it of its color, to do something, whether it was to take the power of creation, take the power of the sun and utilize it to make that first, quicksilver of dew. Because when you look, and this is why I want the visuals, but when you look at the Elden Ring, when I saw the eclipse, it first dawned on me. I proposed to my fiance during the eclipse. As soon as it was totality, I was down on one knee with a box of onion rings and one big one propped up. And as soon as it happened, I tapped him and I said, "Will you marry me?" He shoves his finger, grabs the onion ring, takes a bite and says, "Yep." And so that was it. But at the moment of totality, it goes from golden to a flashbang. And then it's this white silver light. It's the moonlight. It's the moon is so bright. Gravitational lensing is occurring, and instead of us seeing the golden rays of the sun, we're seeing the silver rays of the moon peering out, and the moon is literally blocking the sun's direct rays to us in that spot, in that wave. Because it doesn't happen, just like in real life, the eclipse, not everybody, they see partial. The earth is round, people. But when you're in the line of totality, where you can see it as the earth is rotating during this occurrence of rotating celestial bodies, you have a complete obscuration, total eclipse, or what they call it is occultation. They literally call it in science, in physics, in astronomy, they call it occultation, and we have occultation in Elden Ring. So were the Nox trying to, hello stink ass, hello sugar, what's up? Oh my god, everybody go follow sugar. She's terrible, but we love her all the same. So in astronomy, that's what they call it. They call it occultation. So we have the occultation of the sun with possibly the black moon of Noxtella, right? Fine. Is it the other moon? No, is it what is it called? It might not be Noxtella, actually. I might have misspoke. We have the talisman, the full moon of Noxtella. Isn't that the talisman? I'll look it up real quick. But I think that's the talisman that we get to give us 2 extra memory slots if we have it on. That's Noxtella, which makes sense because it's still there. But I got to remember what the black moon is called. I don't think it's Nokrom. It's something else. I'll double check. I'm listening to you while I work out. Hell yeah. Pump that iron. Get it. Pow, pow, pow. I hope that helps. So regardless, and I'll look it up real quick, but regardless, if that was the catalyst that caused this eclipse of the sun, like a lot of people say, oh, it wasn't the moon covering the sun, it was the moon covering, the tree. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. The sun realm has a big sun The Sun Realm shield depicts the sun. The tower shield with the Sun Realm, the sun. It's a huge rays of sun. That's not. You can't mistake that for a tree. You know what I'm saying? Like I get where they're coming from, and it's totally a viable thought. But when you start to see these things, and then you go into the DLC, and you start to see that this was an obstruction of light to a specific people, then you're like, okay, no, this goes beyond just the tree or trees itself, because from the DLC we know that it's two trees. The Erd tree was two trees before all this shit happened, which is another reason why a lot of people are like, well, Mikula is trying to grow his own. Yeah, but you got a sapling of a tree and you're watering it with your blood to make it grow, and it gets pretty big, but it's supposed to have two, which is why it needed the brace in the first place. It's not just to keep it upright. You see the young seedlings that turned into young avatar trees, except the one that got burnt at Mount Gimler. That's but the other ones, they're growing. They are growing into trees because they are right next to catacombs. They are being given warrior jars, or being broken to feed the tree to make it grow and make it grow and make it grow. But they're so small, they can deal with themselves. They're not big enough to need help. But we know from the DLC that the primordial form of the Erd tree was the crucible. This thing is a dual tree. It is not just one tree, and it's twisted. That's why the Erd tree is always leaning to one side. It's supposed to have its mate there, but it's obscured. Everything about that whole part of the Erd tree is obscured by Marika and her fucking occultation spell, like Marika's mischief, like the fucking thing that you use that they call Marika's mischief. I can't even remember what it is. Mimic veil, and then it's mimic veil is in the name. You know what I'm saying? Marika is of the Newman, who are the ancestors of the Nox. She knows. Imagine watching your people, the ones that survive, grow into this, these sort of people. The Nox weren't always the Nox. I think they became the Nox once they got knocked down to live underground. They were Newman before that. A lot of generations occurred and went before all this shit went down. That's why everything is so old. It's ancient. This is ancient. That's thousands and thousands of years. It's old. So, that being said, the occultation of the sun. You have the dragons, the rulers, right? Placidusax, ruler, whether you think or believe any type of way about how many heads Placidusax had, 5, 4. I'm going by the old Lord's talisman with 4. This is just how I'm doing it. I have seen people say, hey, this is a head, that's a head, that's a... Look, it's 5. Okay, got it. Regardless, Placidusax is down to 2 when we find Placidusax. And that's an optional boss fight. And I feel like the whole idea of trampsing around Fair Missoula, and again, a lot of people get this, they have this whole misconception. There's a misconception about Fair Missoula. I've gone through and read it over and over again, and I can't see any evidence that Fair Missoula was a city. It's always depicted in the text as a mausoleum. It's a place where a mausoleum is located. Nothing about the area shows you anywhere there are living quarters. There are places to sit down. It is literally a temple in the sky, as it is depicted in the game, housing the mausoleum of their lord. and all the other warriors and shit, because there's a bunch of dead people over there. But it is a temple. It's a sacred place. It's a sacred place. There was a bridge that led to there once, but it's gone. We know that from the Bestial Sanctum. Fine, whatever. Garank, whatever. What I've recently learned that I didn't know about, so this goes against the whole thing about how I'm talking about things that I haven't seen addressed. This was just recently brought to my attention. I did not know this. I found out last week that there are times where you can go to the Bestial Sanctum and Garank won't be inside. He will actually be outside howling towards Fair Missoula. And I was like, what the fuck? So, of course, I had to find video of it. I found 3 different videos by 3 different people showing the same thing in 3 different outfits. So just to make sure it wasn't a mod, this wasn't on PC, like it was different people playing in on different consoles. And I was like, I was blown away, because I was like, here we are almost 3 years later. I'm still learning stuff about this game in the base game. So Garank howling at Fair Missoula, another, well, okay, gotcha. That's whatever. But in Fair Missoula, it is just the temple. It is the center of the storm beyond time. When you go fight Placidusax, that whole arena is the center of the storm. The storm beyond time is a fancy way, in my opinion, of saying a black hole. Time works differently the closer you get to a black hole. It's like this whole remnant of a decayed black hole sets out entropy. I know I'm getting in way ahead out into the physics realm, but just hear me out. Once you pass a certain point, you're going to be looked at by everybody else as if you're just stuck in time. It keeps saying that it's crumbling in perpetuity. It's just slowly crumbling. It's slow because of how gravity is affecting it. Now we know a meteorite hit it, boom, and it fucked it all up and dispersed it. And what happens? What happens when we kill Radon the first time? Boom. Some big ass shit. Pow. People are like, oh, it's so weird. It was supposed to hit this. It's nowhere near Cilia. Well, if we're going by any sort of science, what's to say that we aren't slowly rotating at a different speed? You know how the sun looks constantly. The whole rotation of the planet that the lands between sit on in this realm is affected by celestial bodies. It is made clear that way throughout the game. Estelle is a falling star beast. This star, that star, everybody's a star. You get the sense that they're outside in the celestial spheres, all the bodies and all that shit. Gravity is a thing, then it's a thing everywhere else. So something came and shot through the lands between in the game that we're in and fucking blew a hole through a chunk of Limgrave, and all the rocks are just sitting there like just floating there. And you need to jump through, all those rocks that you can to traverse to get to this hole to get into Nokrom in the first place. And you're like, holy shit, there's a whole city. I finally have access to a whole city aside from, you could get to Most Palace early. There's some certain underground, but mainly when you're tramping around before all this, you're really seeing catacombs, which are, the seeds are, they're grown near. The catacombs were built by the great tree roots. The great tree used to be connected to the Erd tree. Okay. You see what I mean? It's goes back to the sun realm being this big, overpowering dynasty with dragons and beastmen. Now, I take it as, the way that the story is going this so far, it's not just, fucking dinosaurs. It's fucking titans, as they're called in the community, the big skeletons we find in Caelid and in the mountaintops of the giants. Big fucking titans. They're fighting whatever the fuck they're fighting, because in the DLC we find out that their arsenal consists of big fucking arrows that we use a shard of as a great sword. The size of this thing is monumentous. I mean, like, it's who is carrying this? What the fuck were they fighting? The old gods' arsenal? Who are the old gods? The old gods. Okay, so the old gods, old lord's talisman, old gods. I'm starting to see a pattern. So I go back to the eclipse and I go, okay, so for a while the dragons, they were the rulers, da 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 da. The greater will bestowed intelligence onto the beasts. The beasts could communicate with the dragons. The dragons had people to take care of menial things. Build me this, make that, do this, do that. Rawr. Okay, now the dragons are protecting the lands from the outer gods' influences. They're doing that shit. They wield red lightning. They're massively powerful and they can't die. I mean, they can be killed, but they're immortal. They live forever. Their scales that fall are fashioned into weapons. Later on, that are strong enough to max your weapon out to plus 25. But then you find the scales that are drained of color. All right, drained of color. What else is drained of color? The sun during the eclipse. We know it happened. Something happened to do this. And after that, the somber dragon smithing stones, the somber stones, the ancient somber smithing stones, all of this, all of a sudden, there's no color. Everything, the power of the sun has been drained and taken somewhere else. And for whatever reason, that corresponds to death, destined death, the rune of death, however death worked before, not being viable. It has no more power anymore. For some reason, we don't know. We're still not sure how that worked, but it says it as plain as day. Hey, the eclipse is the symbol that keeps destined death at bay, and that's why the Mausoleum Knights, who function within death somehow, are the guardians of the mausoleums, but they're not hunted. No, you don't see any of the Golden Order hunting the Mausoleum Knights. You never see them fighting. What the fuck is that about? And that brings me to my point that I haven't heard anyone talk about. Why is it that the Mausoleum Knights can protect the walking mausoleums that carry the bodies of the soulless demigods, the other demigods attacked by, you know, the Newman, basically, the Night of the Black Knife chicks, the Black Knife assassins? Why is that not a thing? These knights went with their demigod lord. How did they do that? How was that able to work in the Golden Order fundamentalism if they were functioning in death? You don't see fucking D going around going, we got to take out this band of knights. They even take their horses with them. There's no taboo against that. How did that work? That's been a perplexing factor for me for a while. I haven't been able to reconcile why it's okay for them to be doing their shit, but the ones that rise from the graves when walking around, exploring, or the ones that were hung that drop off of the, you know, like they are looked at and seen as taboo. The ones in the catacombs that come back to life, any of the skeletons that come back are deemed those who live in death. They're not okay. They gotta go. But you can be soulless and you can be kept in the tomb soulless, and your knights that are loyal to you can sacrifice themselves by cutting their heads off in some weird ass ritual rite that we still don't know, but that it has something to do with the death right birds because of the wings that they use and shit. It's in the descriptions. Some sort of undead rite that they do to keep them their spirits here inhabiting their bodies without their minds, like without their heads rather. But like so okay, so we know like you don't need a head to think. Perfect. You become headless, your spirit walks around, and now what? Because the bodies, the tombs in the mausoleums, they're headless. And the hidden room in oh my god, at the Royal Academy really threw me for a loop. And I've shown that room to people, and they're like, I've played this game for years, never knew that room was there. I found it by accident because I thought I was gonna die. I rolled into it trying to avoid being attacked by the wizards and the fucking puppet, and the room just, the wall disappears, and there's this whole invisible section of the room. Like outside, you can't, it doesn't look like there's a room there. As soon as you roll in, you're like, holy shit, I'm in another dimension. And there are coffins with like the headless motif shit on it. And you're like, what? What the fuck? And there's a rune arc in there. I'm not sure if they're all headless, but it's the same fucking coffins. And I'm like, that's weird. Why would this be here? Just here. A room full of dead people off to the side of the academy. Why is that a thing? Why is that? I haven't reconciled that either. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it. I remember when people started discovering that the room was there. And I was like, oh, cool. People are finding out about that room. That's cool. But then I thought about it lore-wise, and I'm like, why is it there? And then also, why is no one asking that question? Because this is the entrance to a school. What are graves doing off to the side of this invisible wall? Like, what the fuck? What is that about? It's perplexing. It is. It really is perplexing. It threw me off. I was just not expecting that. I survived thanks to that fucking room full of dead people. So, yay. Thank you, developers. But I never remembered to use rune arc, so I probably still have that in my chest or something. But there's a rune arc. If you the spot, and you guys know what I'm talking about, right? You're going to make your way to the academy. You got to run, and there's those two wizards, the ones that were like just killing everybody with the swirly comet magic, and everybody was having a hard time. You'll see so many bloodstains there. Well, you got to open the door, unless the door is open. I think it's open. And if you do have to open the door, then you open the door. But immediately, once the animation is over, just roll in and roll to the right and just keep rolling. And that whole wall up against the side of the right, on the right side, it disappears into a whole room with coffins, like the ones in the walking mausoleums. It's really weird. And there's a rune arc in there, and that's it. But it saved my ass, so maybe it'll save yours. And I have seen people, get saved by it. So I was like, okay, good. People are starting to realize that room's there. But like, that's another thing. I haven't heard anybody mention, what the implications of that room is, because again, it's some weird death bird rite. I may be wrong about that. I don't think so, but like, it's something that they do. It's ritualistic. We know that. And it's still okay within the Golden Order in their fundamentals. And the fundamentals. Hello, hero. Yo, Cap. Good to hear that voice of yours. Hope you're doing well. Why, thank you. I'm doing good. Goofing off about Elden Ring lore. How are you? Hoping you're still in Saturday. Sunday? What's today? Sunday, right? Are you still in Sunday? In your neck of the pond? While I take a swig of my tea. Where I lost my tea again, guys. Oh. It's right here. I'm still in Sunday for sure. Only 5 hours ahead of you. Okay. Well, happy Sunday.